All those years of wrestling in front of 5 people in the Tokyo Dome are catching up to Kenny Omega as he's ruled out indefinitely for AEW action. Any action. He's done. He will not be wrestling 6-year-olds. He will not be wrestling jobbers. He will not be wrestling himself. You can include him in that part of jobber. But he's done. He's out. Thumbs up. Capiche.
But can we crust this tweet?
Ooh, I think we're going to have to crust it like a big... I mean, his arm looks absolutely humped, like you've just cut a bit of crust off a slice of bread, but this guy's get injured a lot in AEW.
This guy couldn't have cut the crust, let's be honest. Couldn't have cut the mustard.
He's not a bread maker, is he?
No, he's not a bread maker. He's not a bread winner. He's just that shitey heel at the end that nobody wants. Discard it straight into the bin.
It ends up blue mold at my time.
Not even good enough for toast.
But this guy's been injured quite a lot in AEW, and a lot of people saying, oh, it's a shame his best years were behind him in Japan. Hold on, right? He's pish. His best years are behind him in Japan. I don't even know what age he is, right?
I think he's like 39, 38.
Seriously?
37.
That old? No one's best years are in Japan. Your best years are when you make it onto the...
I know people say, oh, Hogan's best years were in Japan. Was it fuck? Hogan's best years when he was coming out to the red and yellow, man, and stadiums are going wild. Running wild, brother. But yeah.
No, but they seem to think, in terms of like his age for his prime was his best years. That's just not it.
No, they think his best years is when he was most athletic and he could put on faster paced matches and hit more super kicks.
Boring. Yeah,
but no, your best years are when you're most over and when you're making more money. Like, was Austin's best years in terms of his like in-ring ability and agility and movement? It would have probably been he would have stayed in WCW.
Yep.
If you're talking about when was he like most agile. But if you're talking about when was he most over and when did he improve the most as a worker, then it would have been in the fucking 90s, late 90s, 100%, no doubt about it.
Yeah. No, absolutely, but we can't even...
I guarantee you Austin was a better in-ring worker in the late 90s with a broken neck than he was in the early 90s.
Easily.
Oh, but he wrestled better. No.
Well, let's see what Kenny Omega said. He said, I can't really sugarcoat this. I'm out indefinitely. I tried to keep pushing past the pain for as long as I could until it became too much. Luckily, doctors caught me when they did. I'll be here soon. In the meantime, please enjoy wrestling. Now, according to No DQ, on this article, Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful.com, he reported, we're told Kenny has been ill throughout the last week, even ahead of his match with Ethan Page. He still did the match in the promos and sought medical attention after, where he was hospitalised and diagnosed with diverticulitis. Do you have any idea what that is?
I've heard of it. Is that not the thing that... is that not something similar to what Brock Lesnar had?
With his stomach?
I'm pretty sure he had that in his stomach.
It could be.
I'm pretty sure it's the same thing. I'm not really sure how it affected Brock. I know that it caused him issues and he couldn't take any strikes to his stomach or else he'd be really weak, so I'm not sure if it's something...
That was in real fighting. This is fake fighting. Come on, man. What is it? So yeah, it's conditions that affect the large intestine, abdominal pain.
That sounds like what Brock Lesnar had.
Yeah, that's pretty much what Brock Lesnar had. Brock Lesnar obviously got rid of it. I don't know how he did.
And Brock Lesnar wrestled real fights with it. World Championship MMA battles.
Yeah. I just don't get this.
No, but let's be honest. Like, see if Kenny Omega was over, this guy would be able to work well into his 50s by just his name alone. But I guarantee you, see people like Kenny Omega and people like Will Ospreay and these guys, no one's going to give a fuck about them. See when they get into their mid-50s and they're slowed down and they can't do the moves that they used to do in the past. See your Meltzers, they're not going to be begging for the return of a Kenny Omega at 55 because there's going to be some new, young, up-and-coming 20-year-old in Japan.
Bet I can.
So these guys, their styles, they just will not work. Look at Taker. I mean, Taker and Goldberg could barely stand up at that Saudi show, but because it's Taker and Goldberg, people wanted them. The name value's there, the star power's there. The likes of Kenny Omega doesn't have that.
Nope, never will, never had it. And I think it's all over for him. I mean, I think this is like the third injury he's had in AEW. So, I don't recall him getting injured in Japan. Not that I followed his career in Japan, because quite frankly, I didn't give a damn. But look at Jericho. When does Jericho get injured?
Never. He might have
Never.
been out of shape. Might have been fat as fuck with a big beer belly, midlife crisis. But in terms of injuries, like I don't really recall any.
You just look at the top stars, and they never really get like. See, unless it was freak accidents, they were like when did Michaels get injured? Like the back incident's like the only real McCoy.
Aye, back at Austin, obviously the neck thing with Owen. I mean, Triple H just got injured off a. That's unlucky.
Yeah, and he pretty much did the same thing in '07, wasn't it?
Yeah, so maybe or '06 or whatever, probably just didn't heal properly. But yeah, no, the top stars very rarely got injured.
Yeah, but with Omega and these, it's like injuries every. I mean, seeing you're hearing every week though on Dynamite and seeing like, oh, Omega dropped on his head, and then you've got Eli Dragunov being dropped on his head in NXT. These guys, you're right. No one will care when they're 45 and past it, because they'll be done with no career and no name value. But that's it, guys. That's your breaking news. Kenny Omega. Oh, tragic news. I'm crying. Get better soon, Kenny.